Hello everyone. In this video essay, I will be discussing a topic that I think is really important for society today. Today, I'm going to be talking about a kids show that completely normal middle-aged men are binge watching and reviewing on YouTube completely normally. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the reboot of the hit kids show iCarly, where they are introducing new black characters that were 100% not introduced to score diversity points. Today, I'm going to prove to you guys that iCarly is neo-Nazi white supremacist propaganda. But before we get into that, we have to talk about who created the show. Dan Schneider is a racist cis-white male who has made many Nickelodeon shows. Many of the shows that Dan Schneider makes have white supremacist and neo-Nazi themes. One such show is Drake and Josh, a show about two young white men who are marginalized by society, bullied at school, encounter frequent run-ins with the law, and have no choice but to resort to violence. With that being said, there is an alt-right conspiracy theory that says that Dan Schneider is some sort of creep. This is completely made up. There is no evidence at all that Dan Schneider has done anything creepy with his cast, and that's just completely an alt-right conspiracy. So I don't want to see any QAnon weirdos in the comments talking about how Dan Schneider has feet in his show, because that's just completely coincidental. When Dan Schneider was growing up, he was made fun of by kids for not being able to make anybody laugh. Angered by this, Dan Schneider decided to make his life goal to prove that you don't need to be funny to make comedy. Dan Schneider started off his career by taking advantage of black people. With an introduction to a show called Kenan and Kel, Dan Schneider decided to bring back minstrel shows. The filming of such a racist show took such a toll on the actor Kenan Thompson that he was never able to be funny again. Realizing that he wasn't very cut out for comedy, Dan Schneider decided to move on to comedy drama. Dan Schneider produced a series called The Wonder Years, a coming-of-age series with serious undertones, but was also able to remain very fun. Oh wait, sorry, Dan Schneider, he didn't produce that one. Whoops. Dan Schneider, for one reason or another, was infatuated by the presence of kids on the internet. Because of this, Dan Schneider decided to dedicate a TV series to it. Due to his abnormally large ego, Schneider decided to make himself the star of the show, with himself playing a manipulative producer of a web series. Dan Schneider would call this series Dan's Fans Get Into a Van, where he would force kids to do whatever he asks them to do in order to be in the show, but he would later scrap the idea due to the name being too long. Finally, Dan Schneider decided on a final product. Already from the outset, there are many problematic aspects of this show. For example, the show clearly lacks diversity, with 3 out of the 5 main characters being white. It is clear from a close examination of the show that Dan Schneider did not learn from his past racisms. For example, the show had a tendency to undermine black characters. For example, Barack Obama actually was a series regular on the show, and yet they failed to mention it. The same goes for the rapper 2 Chainz. Rapper, musical producer, and artist Chief Keef was also a series regular on the show, yet they cut out every single scene that he was in. In one episode called I Go to Japan, the cast of iCarly go to Japan due to being nominated for a web show award. The crew is then sabotaged by their Japanese competitors trying to get revenge on the US. This episode also reeks of Orientalism, with Dan Schneider stealing the plot concept from an anime. This anime, known by the name of its English dub Cory in the House, actually involved the same exact plot concept, with Cory being nominated for an award in an award show in Saudi Arabia, being sabotaged by 2 terrorists taking revenge on the US for 9/11. For this next segment, we're going to have to get a little bit of education in here. We're going to have to know what an archetype is. An archetype is roughly defined as something that racists use to put neo-Nazi themes in their work. In case you don't believe me, here's an example of someone who uses the word a lot expressing his views.
So what do you do with the Jews and the Gypsies? Well, round them up, fine. Enslave them, fine. Devote a substantial proportion of your war resources while you're losing to accelerate the rate at which the extermination is taking place.
Let's hear that one more time.
So what do you do with the Jews and the Gypsies? Well, round them up.
Excuse me, sir. The correct term is Romani. So ignorant. Now, let's look at the villain of iCarly. The villain of iCarly is a big-nosed, greedy landlord named Lubert Weinstein. This is known as the greedy Jewish landowner with a big nose stereotype. In an interview, Dan Schneider stated that he wanted to name the character Jewberg Weinstein, but he didn't want to make it too obvious. The most successful character on the show is a character known as Neville Papperman, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan. Which begs the question, why would a proud Jew, such as Dan Schneider, put such neo-Nazi racist themes into a show? The truth is, Dan Schneider is actually a racist, self-hating Jew who, like George Soros, is actually a secret undercover Nazi. It all makes sense now. From using black characters for other people's enjoyment, to making blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan kids superheroes who would save the day, to making trans actors play janitors, to every shitty show that Dan Schneider has ever produced. There's no end in sight to the damage that this individual has caused to society.
This shit is gnarly. 10 iPhones, ICarly. Bitch name Carly, steady car.